Hi everybody, it's Ruth Hull here, and today I'm going to talk to you about a problem that I think most of us have when we try to change our health. I have a lot of clients who come to me and because of their health condition, they need quite a strict diet, or they need to make some big changes to their lives. And most of them really, really struggle. I have to confess, I am really, really, what's the word, culpable, guilty of this as well, because I'm not good at simply cutting things out of my diet. And I'm definitely not good at just trying to get up and start exercising every day when I haven't been exercising for a while. So there are things we have to do to change our health. If you're really sick, if you're struggling with your health, you can't carry on living the lifestyle you're currently living. There's a reason you're sick, there's a reason you're tired, there's a reason you're burnt out, and you need to make changes to your lifestyle if you really want to get better. But I know that when you are just exhausted, when you have just had enough of your health problem, the last thing you feel like doing is actually making those changes. And I see it again and again and again where people start really strict diets, where they start really big exercise regimes, and they don't last usually after a couple of weeks. Sometimes people stick to it for a few months, but often they just go back to their old habits and their old routines and their old lifestyles. So I've got three little tricks that I want to share with you today to try and help you make some changes in your life that will be long lasting. And the tricks are all really, really simple. I think you probably know them already, but you tend to forget them. The first thing is when you need to change your lifestyle. For example, when you've gone to your doctor or your naturopath or your homeopath and they've said, okay, you really need to cut out all these foods. They are causing your IBS, or they're aggravating your IBS, or they're definitely associated with your migraines, or you've got an autoimmune disease and you really want to try and improve that, and you know you need to go on a strict autoimmune diet. The best way to start is to just start with the easiest change you can make. So an example of your typical autoimmune diet is you've got to cut out a lot of things. You've got to cut out gluten. You've got to cut out most grains. You've got to often, not always, but often people need to cut out things like eggs and dairy as well. And if you love all of those and you eat all of those every day in your normal life, it's going to be very, very difficult to cut them all out at once. It's going to put a lot of pressure on you and a lot of stress, and you're not going to know what to buy. You're not going to know what to cook. It can be very expensive as well. And very, very often I see people just become totally overwhelmed when they try and cut everything out in one go. So the trick is to just choose one thing to cut out. Just choose one simple thing. And I always say to people, start with what's easiest. Start with what is easiest. So for example, you've got this autoimmune protocol in front of you and you have to cut out eggs, gluten, dairy, grains. Okay, let's just say that that's what you've been given. And you aren't that fond of eggs, but you love bread and you love dairy and you love your grains. So cut out eggs first. Cut out the thing that you know will be easiest. Cut that out for a couple of weeks. And once you're used to not having that, you'll be able to move on to the next thing to cut out. By starting with what is really, really easy, you give yourself confidence when you see, actually, I've been able to cut it out completely. I've eliminated it from my diet. I can do this. I can do it. Once you've got that little bit of confidence, you can move on to the next thing. And slowly but surely, you would have cut everything out and you'll be able to maintain it. I know when you are feeling sick, you want to make changes as quickly as possible so that you can get better. But true healing takes time. And it doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't happen within a couple of weeks. especially if you've been sick for a long time. So rather make small changes and change slowly so that in, for example, 6 months' time, you are on a completely perfect autoimmune way of living. It's no longer this elimination diet where you have to cut everything out. It's something that is just slowly crept into your life. And you can look back and think, wow, 6 months ago, I lived off eggs, dairy, gluten, grains. Now I don't even think of them because slowly but surely I've cut each of those out of my diet with ease. So that's just an example. Another example would be something like exercise. Let's say you are overweight, you have problems with your knees because you're overweight, and your doctor has said, listen, you've got high blood pressure, you've got high cholesterol, you are overweight, we need to operate on your knees, but you have to lose weight, something like that. You can't all of a sudden decide, okay, I am going to start running every day, because you're going to end up damaging yourself probably, and you're going to end up feeling just completely destroying any self-confidence you've got, because you can't do what you know you should do or what you've been told you should do. So again, start with what's really easy. You haven't run for months or years, but you can walk. You've got a dog, take your dog for a walk. Start with what's enjoyable. Sorry, I can hear my daughter's iPad is just dinging. You can see, I'm just gonna try to put it under the carpet so it stops making such a noise. It's the problem with teenage daughters. Anyway, so start with something easy and something enjoyable. Just going back to that exercise, take your dog for a walk, have fun, get into the sunshine, go to the park, walk in pretty areas. Just really enjoy getting out with your dog. You don't have to walk for an hour or half an hour. You could just go for a 10-minute walk, just walk down the street and chat to your neighbors. Just start somewhere small, start somewhere easy, and something that will become part of your life. And this is the third trick to sort of really making these changes that are sustainable, that are easy, and that are long-term. And that is to make these changes part of your normal routine and your normal life. So for example, you want to take your dog for a walk every day, but you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you're too busy to think about it. So just try and slip it into your normal routine. For example, you get home from work, let's just say you get home from work at 5 or 6 every day. And you usually come home and you take your shoes off and you walk to the fridge and you get a glass of wine, if you're like me, or a beer, or a cup of tea, and you just go and sit down on the couch. Just say that's your normal routine. Before you take your shoes off, just get your dog, just call your dog, put it on a lead, have the lead at the front of your door, and take your dog for a 5-minute walk. That's all. The dog might not be too happy with a short walk, but you are creating a habit, because now you know that every time you walk in the door after work, when you usually take your shoes off, you're going to stop and you're actually going to get the lead and go for a walk. If you don't have a dog, you can just maybe have a pair of trainers at the front door. Get home from work, wherever you put your keys down, your trainers are waiting. You put them on and you get out that door for a few minutes. It's not something big. Something I did myself, I had a lot of back problems. I actually injured my right hip in 2016, and I had a lot of problems with it. And I knew that I had to do more yoga, but I am intrinsically lazy. Those of you who know me know that I'm really physically, I don't like to exercise. But one thing I love is coffee. And so what I decided to do was, every time I boil the kettle to make coffee, I have to do a few yoga poses. And it actually became really easy. It was a little bit of a joke for me. I thought it was quite fun and funny because I make a lot of coffee. And so I ended up doing quite a lot of yoga throughout the day. Would do 2 minutes of yoga whilst the coffee boils. You do that a couple of times a day, and you've created a good habit in sorting out your back and your hip. So that's just another example. Okay, so just to conclude, 3 tricks to really help you start making healthy habits that will last a lifetime. So these are not tricks to change your health overnight. They're not tricks to cure anything, but they're not miracles. They are little things that you can do with ease that will add up over time, so that in 6 months' time, you can look back and think, oh, wow, look where I was and look where I am now. And this really is how you improve your health, especially if you are really tired or really sick, if you're overwhelmed, if you're burnt out, if you don't have a lot of time to change your health, if you don't have a lot of money to change your health, and if you have absolutely no energy and don't really feel like beginning anything. So those tricks are, firstly, always start with something easy. Start by changing the easiest thing. Really find something easy, find something fun, make that change, sustain that change for a couple of weeks, and then be proud of yourself. Get some confidence from it, be proud of it, and then move on to the next change. So that's the first thing, is make it easy. The second thing is focus on one change at a time. Don't try and change everything. If you've got this whole new diet in front of you, don't try and do it all in one go. Rather, eliminate the one thing at a time. Get used to being without it, and then you can change the next thing. And the third thing is make it part of your daily routine. There's a lovely term, habit stacking. Whatever's a normal habit that you already have, just add to it. So add your little change to it. Another example, something I often tell my patients I get lots of patients who hate drinking water. They don't drink any water, and they just don't like water. So really, really simple trick, which really works easily for a lot of people, is if you don't like to drink water, put an empty glass next to your toothbrush. In the mornings when you get up and you brush your teeth, drink a glass of water. The glass is right there. You're brushing your teeth, you'll see the glass. The tap is there. All you have to do is fill it up and drink it. And hey presto, you've started your day with a glass of water. It may sound like nothing, but if you don't drink any water, it's a start. Okay, so that's it. And I will chat to you guys soon. Take care.